Hi, I'm John deSteiguer. I'm the president of Oklahoma Christian University. We're thrilled with the guests that we have on campus today. Dr. Emanuel Tov, the leading expert on the Dead Sea Scrolls, is here on the Oklahoma Christian campus. And I'll tell you, our faculty and our students are very excited about this. Dr. Tov, thank you for joining us today. I want to ask if you'll go back early to your life. You were born in 1941 in Amsterdam. At that time, the Nazis were occupying Amsterdam. Can you tell me about your early years?
I don't remember much because I was just born. And I was born at the time when it was not very good to be born. And next time I'll try to look for a better year. The Germans entered Holland in 1940. And it was immediately a bad time for the Jews. And more or less when I was a year and a half, my parents were brave enough to place me with a Christian family that has raised me, and where I stayed until 1945, the end of 45. That is about half a year after the end of the war. In the meantime, unfortunately, my parents were killed by the Nazis in a camp, as well as many, maybe even most, of my family members. And then I was brought to my uncle and my aunt after the war, who survived, and basically actually my aunt and two uncles survived, and also grandparents. So the immediate family survived, except for my parents. And I was raised by them, and I called them mom and dad, and I had, as much as is possible, a very happy youth. And so it's not very good, but it's not also very bad.
Dr. Tov, thank you for sharing that. I admire you greatly. I admire your what you have done in the years since your youth. Now, in 1961, at about the age of 20, you moved to Israel. Would you tell me about that?
Well, I had a happy youth, and I went to school at a very good school. I was a member of a Jewish youth organization that was Zionistic. That is, we educated people to come to Israel. And so first I was educated, and then I also educated others. And at the age of 20, I fulfilled my dream. And I went all alone without any relative to Israel, which was not easy. I did it in a very funny way, because I drove to Israel on my scooter all the way from Amsterdam through the Alps until Greece. There I embarked on a boat, and this took months, incidentally. And then I enrolled at the Hebrew University. I started to study Hebrew Bible and Greek literature. Those were very good times.
I'm curious about the scooter trip across Europe to Israel. Do you still have that scooter by any chance?
Of course not.
Okay.
I wanted to have a means of transportation in Israel.
Right.
And those were somewhat primitive times. So I brought one from Holland. By no stretch of the imagination would I ever have allowed my children to do what I did. And it was dangerous here and there. And I'm very glad I did it. It brought me to manhood, so to speak. And I had my means of transportation in Jerusalem.
Right. Wow. Your life has been devoted to Bible scholarship, and you've spent a good amount of your life studying the Dead Sea Scrolls.
When I was 15, I went to England on a summer vacation. I was there a few weeks. I didn't have much money, but I bought 2 books. And they kind of characterized my life. One was the Diary of Anne Frank, and one was an introduction to the Dead Sea Scrolls. And I didn't have money. I didn't eat enough, and I even remember that I fainted one time, and I got ill with flu because I didn't allow myself to eat enough. I bought books. So I was already strange at that time. And then when I came to Israel, I started to study Hebrew Bible, not Dead Sea Scrolls, and immediately was drawn to the scrolls. I did my BA, MA, etc. I specialized not on the scrolls, but I specialized on the Greek translation of the Bible, the Septuagint. And then it went on, my interest.
The time that you have spent with the Dead Sea Scrolls, what have been some particular lessons that you have drawn, or things that you have discovered and learned that have that you would consider having major impact?
Yeah, I should say, describe maybe more in general what I did with the scrolls.
Sure.
For me, the scrolls were a source of information when I started studying them. I read ancient manuscripts, and I was thrilled by the information that was in it, and I applied it to my general study of the Hebrew Bible. As I continued my work on these scrolls, I was at one point even asked to publish a Greek scroll. And one of the volumes in the series of the publication is my own volume on the Greek scroll. I realized what an important source of information they were for the knowledge of the Bible in old times, 2,000 years ago. And I continue to appreciate that treasure of information. And then it so happened, as history turned, I was asked to become the main person in publishing them.
Wow. I like one of your quotes that I've read that says, "You don't work with fragments, you work with humans."
As editor-in-chief, I was handling people. That's what you do. First you are an individual, a separate scholar, an individual scholar. You work on text, and then I became the leader. And then you deal both with texts, with fragments, and with people. But basically, you work more with people, and people are more difficult than fragments. And you have easy people and you have difficult people. Of course, the difficult people are the ones you deal with most. Now, what is a difficult person? A person that tells you that he will finish his work next month and it takes him two years, such things. And you learn about people when you're in a project. Also, when you are alone, you work with yourself, and when you are chairman of the department, you learn about the people, not about the scholarship, you learn about the people. And as a president, you learn about the people that you work with.
Right.
That person is easy to handle, and that person always says no when you ask something.
Sounds like we maybe have worked with some of the same people from
Yes.
time to time. Well, I know, Dr. Tov, that this is your first visit to the state of Oklahoma, and I hope you're having a good experience and visit here. Do you have a final word or a final message for our students here at Oklahoma Christian University or others that might be viewing this video?
Well, when I talked this morning in chapel, I saw in the eyes of the people that they were interested. And I like people that are interested and deeply involved. And what I like in particular in people is if they give their whole heart, that people are deeply involved in what they do. So my message would be, do what you want to do and do it well. And if you do it well, you slowly will develop a vocation and a purpose in life. It may change, the emphasis will change, but think about what you do and enjoy it.
Dr. Emanuel Tov, do what you want to do and do it well. Love it. This coming from a man who is a world-renowned scholar and also a man who drove over the Alps in a scooter back in 1961. God bless you, Dr. Tov. Thank you for being here.